Hello and welcome back, guys, for Rules of Survival Global Challenge. I'm here joined with Fish again. Fish, we've just finished map number 1, and it was an interesting one.
Interesting is a good word to describe that map. That was the weirdest map we've ever seen. There hasn't been a map so far in the Global Series across North America, Europe, or Southeast Asia was quite like that. We had 2 med strats fail. Then we had a one-on-one in the final zone where the team that had 3 members left alive couldn't take it. They dropped down to 3rd place even in the final zone. It was just chaotic, and it was a very weird start to the grand final.
Yeah, I think chaotic is definitely the way to put it. I mean, watching those teams, especially in that final zone when we saw, the 3 teams with 1v1s and, we saw the trade kills happening, it was very unexpected, but here, of course, are the standings after map number 1.
Yeah, Bigatron team, unfortunately, did not load into the tournament for map 1. So they don't even get 10 points for 15. They get 0 for not participating. 100, so will WAFFF and Wolfstars. Very close to what you want for an average map. Pirate team getting in there, 5th place. Seal team close to them, and Fate just behind at 120. Medstrat for Seal as well as Fate did not go the way they planned it.
No, and that's a really dangerous gamble. We were batting on about it, especially after watching both Seal and Fate lose their members early on in those fights. So, it made things a lot harder to try and make that work. And we do harp on, especially because WAFFF had quite the performance in that with that single building hold, didn't they?
Exactly. They took down Ovgods in the first skirmish they had in the tournament. We said, WAFFF, they're going to be outgunned. The Ovgods are such a strong team coming from Thailand. Not the case. The 14th seed, the 2nd seed from Indonesia coming into the tournament, was able to take it to them. And then another team rocked up. Same thing. Might not be good for them. They take that skirmish. They go into the final zone. They kill everybody who are looking for flanks with a better position. It was just the final play zone where they go up against Fury Roads, and unfortunately for them, Arn has been having a fantastic tournament. When we don't look at players from NRX, John 316, or Pirate Team, or Ovgod and say who's one of the top fraggers, Arn always stands out. Even when Fury Roads don't win a best of 5 series in the group stages, even when they're not coming out on top, he somehow is always top 3 when it comes to frags. And when it mattered in the final zone, yes, he got taken down, but he took 2 members of WAFFF with him and allowed his final teammate to make it into that last play zone.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a very interesting way to look at those standings. I mean, that's not something we expected, especially coming from the first map. Maybe we could have expected that a little bit later in today, or maybe a little bit later in tomorrow. For those of you, of course, that are joining, this is the Southeast Asian Regional Finals, guys. This is going to be played over the next 2 days. This is the grand final. 15 teams are playing off for that 110k prize pool. USD, that is. Yep. So there's a lot riding on this, to say the very least. And the start wasn't the best that we saw. No,
it was a chaotic start. So we expected, the first 6 maps to be a little bit more chaotic than the maps that we'll have tomorrow, just because, you need to try and pick up as many points as you can in the first 6 maps, just to make sure, you feel comfortable going to day 2. Because if you go into day 2 and you only have a few hundred points, then what's going to happen is you're going to go into day 2 and say, all right, we need to change something. We need to be more aggressive. You're going to put a lot of pressure on your team, on your squad, on yourself, going into the second day. And you want to be as comfortable as possible going into day 2. But a good start for WAFFF means the 2nd seed team from Indonesia should be feeling very comfortable for the rest of today. Let's see if they can keep it up, because they are seeded 14th coming into the tournament. And thankfully, we have all 15 teams loading into map 2.
Yeah, and that's something that we were a little bit worried about. I mean, this is going to be I think today for me is going to be interesting for Bigatron, and from their perspective, considering they didn't actually load into that first map, so they're coming in with 0 points in map number 2. Now they're going to have to put on quite the performance, especially if they need to claw this day back. They do not want to go into tomorrow without having that buffer, without having that fallback play.
War of Elite still starting on Rustbane. We see FAW doing the exact same thing. I got that wrong. I was looking at War of Elite as the team that I mistook for Bigatron. So there is still a chance that they did not load in, but now that we are in the map, see 60 players left. Every single team, every single player is here for map 2 of the grand finals. But I find that really interesting, Manic, because Bigatron team, if you look at all the teams in this tournament, Bigatron team are the biggest esports organization in this tournament. They have multiple teams across many different esports titles. They have a League of Legends team that plays in the Arena Premier League, which is the biggest league in Southeast Asia. They've got multiple teams playing at different mobile games. They've got a Counter-Strike team. Biggest organization, not the best team at the tournament, but for an organization that has such infrastructure, support staff, and everything that you would need as a professional player, it's almost inexcusable that for map 1 you don't show up in a grand finals. Yeah, especially because it's the grand finals. And it's not like the tournament time got changed. We play at the exact same time every single week for the past 8 weeks of the damn tournament. Not sure what happened with them there, but that's really poor. And if they lose the tournament, or if they, fall a few places down by a few hundred points, they're going to be kicking themselves for that.
But you feel as though, like no matter what the excuse is, it's not good enough, especially considering, yes, it's the grand final, but, maybe they're just like, it's map 1, we're trying to get in, but, we can't, map 1. It will count up towards the ends, especially when you've got teams like NRX that, we know how formidable they are, we know how good they are, and if they can get the reins early on today, tomorrow is going to be an absolute mountain for them to climb.
And big shout out to our teams from the Philippines, especially WorldStars as well as NRX. Last week we had the horrible typhoon that ripped through a lot of countries in Southeast Asia, especially in the Philippines. A lot of the rules of survival players were affected by that, the pro teams included. They managed to get there for the tournament. They braved through the typhoon, played through it, and they had an up and down performance during that week. But it's fantastic to see that everyone is okay from the two squads that are playing today, and they're all the way here in the grand finals. Not the best starts from the two Filipino teams, but we'll have to see how to do throughout the rest of the tournament. Meanwhile, Balthazar as well as NRX John 316 might get into an early skirmish here.
Yeah, Balthazar they're actually trying to force this battle right now as Blackjack's making his way towards the wall for a little bit of cover, and you can see the players just backing off. Really looking too interested to take that fight right this second.
You got a little bit wrong. That is going to be WorldStars. NRX do not drop around Rust Bay this early on, so WorldStars, second seed team coming into the Philippines against Balthazar, the final seed team from Thailand.
We're going to cut across.
Nah, we'll get away right as someone dies.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So Fury Roads at the moment, they actually had the really nice, that was really nice on map 1, especially towards that end. And we are going to come back. Blackjack now, he's going to be able to spot out 2 or 3 here. Surely he's going to be able to pick them off as they try to move. That's 1, that's 2. Surely he'll be able to find a third there, as you can see M in the background trying to make it away. He's actually going to execute both of those plays, and there's nothing that MJ can do to stop it. That is not good stuff whatsoever.
And that's really strange, because WorldStars got an initial down onto one of the members coming out from Balthazar. Jitapon got taken down very early into that skirmish, but now it's a 2-on-3. If they pick up Jitapon, it's going to be a 2-on-4, and WorldStar's just running out into the open thinking they have the upper hand there.
Yep, Blackjack, he is unrelenting right now. He is not holding back, and it looks as though we do have a flank coming in from the side as well, but it's trying to tap away on those last remaining players. A bit of a boost going into the second window, the second floor rather, if they can make it happen. It's not going to happen. They are just going for the peak right now, but you can see, of course, Durr on the other side looking to find those last 2 remaining players. They've got everything locked and secured right now. This is extremely dangerous for those last 2 members. Still just waiting for anything, any sort of mistake. They are waiting to pounce. They are like a snake around a rabbit. They're just waiting for it to settle for a second, and Blackjack's going to push through the window. They're not going to expect the boost up, and that is another massive kill. Blackjack with 3 to start things off. He'll be able to take down MK. No, it's MJ, but it won't make a difference. MJ, did he get away with murder there?
He did. I mean, MJ didn't get the kill, but he almost got it there. We'll get the final revive coming out from Balthazar, but they wipe WorldStars, first team to fall on the second map. And that's very strange, because in the first few weeks of the tournament, Manic, this was the reverse. It was the Philippines, Indonesia, Southeast Asia that were taking it to the Thai teams, that were abusing them in the early game. A territory that they were not very familiar, not very comfortable with. Now it's the opposite. Shoes on the other foot. It's Balthazar that hunt down WorldStars, the automatically seeded team from last split into the competition, into the group stages, and they hunt them down very early in a very early skirmish. I mean, we can see how early it is, because when Jitapon fell, they didn't have meds to give to him to med back up. He was using bandages to try and get back up to full, and didn't even have enough to get up to full, but they executed it incredibly well.
You feel as though they didn't even know that Balthazar were there. Blackjack were able to pick off. Was it Blackjack? Who was able
Blackjack
to pick?
got 3 out of the 4.
Like, it sat there from the second story, just waited for them to start making their move and picked off 2. Nearly the third as well as he tried to cross, but very interesting to start things out. And this is something that we're not really that used to seeing so early on, but at the moment NRX is trying to force the fight. Already Sanji's going to be knocked, so too Samo. They need to be careful right now. NRX is unrelenting right now, and so too, not in the meantime, will fall down.
Ovgod need to be careful. They're already losing so many players here. Vorik just got down first, got revived by his team, but CT, the captain of Ovgod, he's down as well. So only 2 players left, and NRX, they're pushing it already.
Yeah, NRX are just putting on the pressure right now. Pedal to the metal if it's happening. And still, they're going to continue their assault on in. Is he going to be finishing off the number 1 man? Now, the last 2 remain. They're looking to get away, but I don't think they're going to be allowed to. Oh, drops him instantly there. That is going to be a huge kill to start things out. So too, Lycan will be able to find off Vurix, but an interesting fight there.
Lycan finishes off Vorik, but it was not before Vorik got a kill onto one of the members of NRX. But again, that's CT Ovgod falling very early in the tournament with very few frags to the name. This is the number 3 seed in the grand finals. They were the automatic qualified team from Thailand into the group stages, and 2nd seed from Thailand making it to the grand finals. And we know that Ovgod had different up and down performances, but this is inexcusable 2 matches in a row. However, Balthazar against F9.
Oh my goodness, Chicken's going to be able to find one, knock him down as well. Will they be able to make their way up the mountain? They're going to be careful as well. Nearly getting caught out there, but Balthazar, is that them out? No, they've got one. Is it 1 remaining there?
They've got 2 remaining, I believe. It looked like Balthazar were trying to drive past F9, and 2 players got knocked out of the building. Moving over from Rust Bay, F9, the premier team coming in from Vietnam. Difficult start to map 1, but they at least get a couple of frags for themselves. It looks like 3 frags already picked up here, so yes, 1 player left from Balthazar.
And, I mean, that was not what we were really looking for from Balthazar, especially after that earlier encounter. We thought maybe they were going to be looking hot right now, but look at this from Blackjack. Could he just be able to pick these players off? Does he have the scope? He's going to be able to find 1, maybe 2, but he's going to have to hit these shots from such a distance as well. Incredibly hard to try and make that work. He is just going to back away from the fight. Not only is it hard from that distance, but so too on the mobile. That is going to be extremely hard to try and hit those shots at such a distance.
It is. I mean, it's very rare we see mobile players actually pick up weapons like DMRs or sniper rifles just because of how difficult it is to be precise and accurate with long-range weapons. And unfortunately for Blackjack, he had the 2 times, which is nice to have on the mobile version of ROS. Gives you enough zoom, but also enough flexibility to work with the imprecise controls of a touchscreen. However, in that situation, you would have wanted something a little bit more to scope down onto the 4 members of F9. And unfortunately for him, when F9 turned around to fight back, they had 4 times and 8 X's in their inventory. So couldn't quite pick that fight. Seems like Balthazar's final player of Blackjack will be looking to just try and see if he can survive through the next few play zones to make it into a top 5, top 6 finish and pull it back for his team. Their team already has 4 frags. That's 40 points to them, with the guaranteed 10 points if they finish last, which they're not going to in this match. So the longer he can hold on, the longer he can survive, the better it would be for Balthazar in the long run of this 12-map grand final.
I mean, F9, they're sitting in a really nice position now. They can find themselves in the center of that circle, which it looks like they have done as well. Not only do they have the weaponry to take those fights, but now with the position, things could get very dangerous for any teams looking to make their way through. But at the moment, it looks as though we'll see that Suicide Squad, an open vehicle, making their way.
This is Bigatron. This is the team we didn't get to see at all in the last match. None of their players were able to load into the tournament, and unfortunately, if not a single player makes it into the map, even if just 1 player made it into the map, they would at least get 10 points. But 0 points of disqualification from that. It's going to be Roger taken down from Pirate Team.
Oh, that's not looking good whatsoever. It's going to be Rayong trying to put on a bit of pressure, apply it to the wound, but it's not going to work out just yet. Now Mansom's going to have to try and hold as they make their way through. Warlords is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and that's going to be the end of him as well. He gets knocked down, and now Bunny. Was Bunny knocked as well? No. Leave Bunny. No.
Bunny is knocked down
Bunny
with Warlords.
That's not looking good whatsoever. Now, Seal coming in from behind as well. Pirate are stuck between a rock and a hard place right now, and they need to try and find their way out of this. You can see just across there, Jackie now. Will he be able to pick these players off? It looks as though he'll just be going for the executes as of yet, but still, Seal just behind them. They need to be careful here, Pirate. They are in a bit of a tricky situation. If, however, the members of Destroyer can bring those players back up, if they can find Bunny, if they can bring him back to life, Pirate might be in a very tricky situation.
Jackie is trying to flank away from Seal team, get behind the rest of Destroyer. Only Bunny and Swati left alive. Swati is one of the carry players for the team, so he can definitely put up some clutch performances, even though he's the final player left alive. But you're right, Seal team are waiting in the wings. For Pirate team, though, they've got quite a few frags for themselves. 3 being picked up already. Manson holding on to those kills. We saw him with the crossbow, loaded some of his grenades onto it, fired those into the back lines. And the explosive crossbows have been something that we've seen come out so much from these Southeast Asian teams. They love to loot that weapon. They love to pick it up. This is Seal team. They only have 2 players here, so these 3 squads, not many left.
Oh, no. Dont's been able to catch him out just as he was trying to make his way away. That is not good at all for Destroyer. That is their last member as well. Don't. That is an execution and a half to find that on the flank. But look at this from Jackie in the perfect position. Surely we'll be able to catch out maybe one as he makes his way around. Surely just gets away with a pixel in it. And now he's got to be careful because Don't will know exactly where he is. But look at this from Manson. He's going aggressive on the other side. Will he be able to catch him out? Yes, he has done. Surely going to be able to put him into the grave now. And Don't. He's just hiding behind Truck and they have not spotted him yet.
And as much as that's a good kill coming out for Manson, he had that rubber hammer out. Just smack him in the head with that. Would have been a nice melee kill being picked up there, but Pirate team take down 1 member of Seal. 1 last player is behind the truck. Don't is just healing up. He is tanking the green zone at the moment. Only plays zone 3 coming up, so he's not going to take too much damage being outside the zone. A couple of energy drinks would be enough to keep him topped off to survive through this one. But he's playing this one patient. He knows he's the last player from Seal team, but Pirates have turned it around. They were pincered between 2 squads. They lose 2 players, but now they're in a good position to come out of this one alive, picking up a decent amount of frags for themselves, but moving forward in map 2, only 2 players left. Not the best position for Pirate team to be in.
No, not at all, but, you know, Seal, they're just hanging on by a thread right now. Don't. It's just going to be hiding in the background, waiting for these players to maybe make their move and start legging it, but I feel as though they know that that second player was there, so that's going to be really dangerous for Don't, especially if they just hang around and wait for him to start making his way through. It is, however, in that zone, so they do need to be careful. They don't really want to leave it too long as they aren't realistically playing with that med strat with all 2 remaining players now, but still in a nice position for Don't. He could do some serious damage to Pirate, and he could actually give Seal a little bit of an upper hand heading into the late game.
He could. And we'll check back on that later on, because it is a little bit of a stalemate. Pirate team don't know where the last member of Seal is for the moment. This is FAW, they're the Rust Bay team from Vietnam. What was curious about the Rust Bay strategy is we had 3 teams from Southeast Asia who would drop there religiously. We had Manuk from Indonesia, who placed last out of 30 teams in the entire tournament. We had FAW from Vietnam, as well as War of Elite. 2 of those teams made it to the top 15, but War of Elite has foregone the Rust Bay strategy. FAW have had this place to loot by themselves the entire time, uncontested. However, Blackjack from Balthazar is behind them, and F9 are close by. So FAW could try and spot him out. Seems like we had Dark 37 running on the fence there. That seems to be a little bit of a visual bug going on.
I feel as though it might just be, as you know, so would have been able to take that fight, but Blackjack...
But they don't know F9's here. They're looting as if they own Rust Bay, which theoretically they do. F9 have made their way over from the eastern side across the bridge over towards Rust Bay, and if they have been watching the Southeast Asia regional clash religiously, they would know that this is FAW and War of Elite real estate. They will stay here as long as possible, hence the careful approach we see coming out from F9. They won a firefight against Balthazar already, getting 3 frags out of the 4, only Blackjack left alive. FAW seem like they want to get out of this position. F9 will hear the truck moving through. They might jump out, and they might just stay hidden for a little bit longer.
So they're playing the long game in this one. They're just going to wait. The zone now closing in, and of course, they won't take too much damage, of course. It won't force them out of position, but right now, look at this. Fury Roads, they're looking for the contact, and In a second, have we just seen a wipe?
That was NRX John 316 taking down the Map 1 champions of WA Triple F through a vehicle explosion. 6-9 picking up all the kills for that as well. We didn't get to watch that, but we saw that under kill feed.
That was quite big to start things there, because there's a confirmed 4 kills. Was that 4
kills confirmed coming up
4
from NRX.
kills confirmed, so 40 points towards the end of today, and that will be massive, especially considering the result that they had earlier on. And at the moment, a bit of a firefight going on at this point. It is Bigatron. They will definitely need to be taking this one away, as unfortunately not loading into that last match is going to be quite dangerous. But for now, it is just Fury Roads trying to push these players out of position. Throw the rabbit down the hole, force a snake out, but it doesn't look as though it is going to happen. They are going to back away for now, disengage, and continue moving on. They say it's not really worth trying to take that fight just yet.
Fury Roads might not be first when it comes to points for the moment, but they did win the first map. They might run into F9 here. We're trying to sneak their way through Rust Bay. Already the Southeast Asian scene shaken up in the second match. Much better coming into map 2. More strategic play. We do have a lot more early skirmishes between the multiple squads fighting for the next play zone. Out in an open field, not too many houses inside the next play zone.
No, but that's really nice play coming in at the moment. They're just slowly trying to scout out any sort of trouble, any sort of players moving on towards. I don't know whether they've been able to spot them out yet, F9, so Fury Roads, but this is going to be interesting. We're about to see 3 squads meet at a head. Ziff's making his way up along the bank there. You will be able to find him flanking in, but this is going to be really interesting right now because they don't realise that F9's behind them. This could be absolutely devastating for all teams involved. They're going to go aggressive towards the house. They are going to be forced out at the moment. Dropped already. Chicken's been able to catch out Nep, and they're just going to go for the back line there. They're not even going to wait to see what happens. They're going for the kills. They're going for the jugular right now. Demon's going to have to try and hold inside the house because he is up a creek without a paddle. There is nothing he can do to help his team. His team are stuck literally between a rock and a hard place, similar to what Pirate were, and there we go. They have been able to catch out Demon, but unfortunately can't find the kill. They didn't expect him to be in there so early, and this is really ballsy coming in, and that's just, you can't take that fight, not with how many people are out there continuing to just, what the hell's Demon's done that many kills? He's managed to nearly wipe down Fury Roads there.
He found enough kills for himself on the final standing player for Fury Road, one of the carries of the team, one of the top fraggers in the tournament. Fury Roads, unfortunately, even though they had the piece of real estate, they were sieged by War of Elite, who were stuck between 2 squads. They only had one way to go, and that was into the houses. F9, who got to watch everything unfold, just watched as War of Elite did the hard work for them, taking down multiple members. Now they have 4 members sieging into a maximum of 3, but 1 member of Fury Roads is still down. She gets spotted out on...
And this is not good whatsoever. F9 have played this absolutely perfectly right now. There's nothing that they could have done to stop that, not with that squad already starting to hit. But look at this from Blackjack. He has been the menace. He is still just hanging around. He is literally the thorn in the side at the moment of every team. He's just being able to sit for a moment longer, but at this point it is number 1 who's looking to make their assault in towards Bigatron now, holding the line. They know that they have to try and take this fight eventually, and literally just trying to scope the area out at this point. Will they disengage and make their way in, but already going to be dropped out. The AO not good at all to start things.
Natic Pro getting a single down there. Actually takes down the downed member of number 1. So they lose one of their squad mates. Bigatron holding on strong, even though number 1 steal their truck away from the building. They'll still lose 1 player to Bigatron, holding on to that piece of real estate. Number 1 don't want to pick this fight anymore, though. Play zone is coming in. They're trying to make them way into the next play zone.
And that might be really crucial, finding those 2 vehicles and taking it away as well, because now Bigatron have to make their way via foot, which is not promising whatsoever. But at the moment, F9 are going to be caught out because they're trying to find their way through in towards that house, but it's not going to happen, not just yet. This Ford, F9 have been so strong this matchup. They have a button of a kill.
Zone is going to collapse in 45 seconds. F9 need to get towards the next play zone. They're about 300 meters away from it. Do have a truck for themselves.
Again, by the skin of their teeth, with 3 members alive. Just keep running into more fights. No matter where they go, no matter where they turn, it just seems to be more and more trouble here. The Dart going to be holding on to the hill. It looks as though the truck's gone down the hill, and I don't think that was intended whatsoever. I think they were trying to hold on to that for a moment longer, seeing if they could maybe use it for a bit of cover and a getaway vehicle. But
They had one of their players run down to pick it up, caught up to the trucks. Now it's being shot at. It's not the best. But they'll still hold on to their vehicle, and they are in the next zone. And RegionI John 316 are in the next zone as well. They're number 1 on your screen.
They're in nice and safe at the moment, but I mean, Pirate team as well, those last 2 players that managed to find their way through the fights, and Dark is actually looking to force this issue at the point. Number 1 are actually going to be caught out here, and I don't know whether they're going to have the cavalry to try and fight this. F9 are closing in, and it's being dropped down at the same time by Blackjack, who's coming from the side, and that will unfortunately be the end of Blackjack. He fought hard and waited as long as he could to take those fights, but eventually he knew that he had to make something work. He can't be able to do so, but the Dar, it's given them a chance right now. Number 1 are going to be able to continue to lay down suppressive fire, but Chicken, he is playing with fire as the Dart. Can he stop these players from being revived down the hill? At the moment, number 1 are just slowly falling man by man. Chicken's going to go up the hill and go aggressive at the moment. There's still 2 players outside of the zone that are still up and still alive, so they can hold the progressive fire as the Dar.
Last member.
He is going to be in a very tricky spot. Still trying to take down. He's been able to catch out 1, which is a huge kill to start things out, but he's going to be careful because Chicken's so close to him. Doesn't realise it just yet, but still jumping around. He's been able to take him down. The Chicken. Take down. He's been able to catch out 1, which is a huge kill to start things out. Massive right now.
Pulls out the shotgun, gets the close range kill. Now it's only Dark 37 left. He's running across an open field though.
Oh, surely not. The Dar's going to be able to spot out the Dar, and that's got to be it.
That's insane.
It. F9 have just been dropped by the Dar almost single-handedly with the help of Blackjacks from beside him.
Yep, we got Balthazar throwing the spanner in the works, and that was enough for the 2-man squad left for number 1 to get the 3 final kills. NRX do lose a player, but you're going to be able to revive like an AA towards these final play zones. 11 players left. We should have 9 in the final play zone with 2 teams med-stratting.
Well, Megatron at the moment, they've only got 1... Bigatron have only got 1 kill to their name, and unless they make it towards that top seed, that's not going to look good whatsoever. FAW, however, need to be careful. I actually don't know whether they even realise how close they were. Was that close, or did it just look it?
It looked close. I don't think it was that close, but I'm looking at NRX now. They've lost 1 player, so I can't count all their kills, but map 2, they've got 11 between the 3 players that are left in this final zone. Jay-Z is healing outside, just as a insurance coming out for NRX. They've got enough frags that if they place 3rd or 4th, they'll have enough points for this second map.
NRX is the team that we were saying that are probably the most dangerous in this situation, and with that kind of assistance, they will be able to take these fights, but there's now Bigatron that are going to be holding that. It looks as though the zone might just be closing in just outside of that house, which is not going to be good, but like A&A, we'll be able to find out Lancer, and that is a massive kill coming in, still tapping away. Bigatron are now in a really poor position.
What was unfortunate for Bigatron is they ran into Team Fate, who had 3 players, and unfortunately, Fate were outside the zone. So even though they got 3 frags, only 1 kill for themselves because the zone was able to take down 2 in the final moments. It was unlucky for Bigatron. They've been robbed of 2 frags, but like an AA is holding them down, holding them hostage inside this house.
Very nicely done. He's still got, however, Luxy Pro coming in from behind, so needs to be very careful at this point. The flank is coming through, but the Firecracker is going to do the damage for FAW, and that is a huge kill to start things off. Like an AA has been able to eventually find Zuxi. Now we'll be able to spot out there the next member, and that is huge. NRX are going massive right now. They're just being able to pick them off 1 by 1. And I don't know if they've got enough to fight this right now.
I think one of their players just went down there. I believe it was the final player inside the play zone with them that fell. Can't quite see Astapan to his left a bit more, but there's the Dar.
And surely will he be taken down? The vehicle is very low. Has the vehicle gone to... Oh, I thought that was a ghost kill coming in.
He is holding them down, holding them hostage inside this house.
Tapping away as he makes his way up the hill, and it looks like an AA has been dropped as well, and that is massive from the Dar. And look at this from behind. Jay-Z's still there. Will he be able to save his teammate or not? Luxy's just on the other side of the hill, so the Dar needs to be very careful. I think he's just playing for the end game here. And Bigatron need that in a massive way, but still they are just waiting for these players to kind of show themselves first.
Seems like these are the final few players in the last play zone here. I just saw Fate lose a player outside the play zone. That could have been their med stratting member, I believe it is. So Seal should have the final med stratting player. And that's unfortunate. 27 minutes in is not a good timing for med strat if you are Team Fate. Bigatron have one player here in Luxy Pro. The Da has survived for so long. Jay-Z is still healing outside the play zone. So it's 1-on-1-on-1!
Oh my goodness.
And now it's a 1-on-1 in the final play zone between the Da, who is holding on strong for number 1 against 6ix9ine, who has 7 kills in this map for NRX John 316.
But the Da hit from behind the tree. Maybe if it lands just a little bit further out. I don't think it did. So the Da is now pushed out into the open. He's been able to catch him out. The Molotov comes out, but still not being able to find him just yet. Continuing to do so. The Da falls down, but still one more remains.
And I believe that'll be Seal Team's med stratting player. 28 minutes in. He could go for a little bit longer, but no, it was Mansum from Pirate Team who was med stratting at the final bits of the play zone there. They get second, but it is going to be NRX John 316 who not only get first place, but with 16 frags to their name.
That was massive from NRX. I mean, you couldn't write that kind of a script for them. You know, that was looking really nice. And yeah, you know what? Hats off to Blackjack. I think that was really interesting for me. Blackjack coming in with I think 3 frags towards the end there. You know, held on for dear life, managed to at the least help number 1 take down. I can't remember who was it. Who was in that final zone? Was it?
I believe it was F9 they were up against.
Yeah, that's right. F9 were making their way up the hill, and Blackjack was just continuing to take those fights. But yeah, this was very interesting for map number 2. It was a little bit different to map number 1. We actually saw the med strat work. You know, like coming in at second seed
for Pirate Team. Yep, med strat did work out for Pirate Team, but the 2 teams that we know to med strat, Fate and Seal, failed once again. And coming to the grand finals, they're not going away from the strategy. They're still med stratting, but they can't fail when it comes to the grand finals. But that's the end of map 2. So we're going to go tally the points for that last map, go to a break, and come back with map 3 in just a bit.
I just woke up in my underwear, no liquor left on the shelf. I should probably introduce myself. You should have seen what I wore. I had a cane and a party hat. I was the king of this hologram where there's no such thing as getting out of hand. Memories tend to just pop up. Drunk pre-meds and some rubber gloves. 5,000 people with designer drugs. Don't think I'll ever get enough. Cocaine, gasoline, and most things in between. I rode the city in a shopping cart, a pack of camels and a smoke alarm. This night is heated up, raise hell and turn it up. Say if you go on, you might pass out in a dream, but oh yeah, threaten me with a good time. It's a hell of a feeling there, it's a hell of a feeling there. Alright, it's a hell of a feeling there, it's a hell of a feeling there. What are these footprints? They don't look very human-like.